Tulsa King, episode 6. So next week, there is no episode of Tulsa King. I have something else planned to review that Monday, where I usually tackle Tulsa King, because, of course, when new episodes drop is Sunday, and the Sunday's Christmas, so they decide not to put out an episode, which I totally get that. So, if you're expecting a review of next week's episode, there's not next week's episode, so. But this episode is fantastic. And what I really liked about this episode is I mentioned the end of the last week's episode at the end of the video, and I didn't talk too much about it. But this episode, we get a nice glimpse of the consequences of the episode. He murdered the dude, It's spoilers, I guess, but I don't know why you're watching these reviews if you haven't seen the episodes. Um, yeah, it's just you see that dynamic of he's going down this darker path. I mean, most of the show, Sylvester Stallone's been kind of comedic, kind of funny, and he's got that vibe to him, don't get me wrong, but you start seeing the darker edge to these characters getting into the rest of the show. I mean, this episode he murders a dude. He wears literal blood on his hands, and then and I like seeing the subtle details of these characters. I forget the other guy's character on the horse ranch or whatever. Someone comes up to him and he says, "I think you quit. I thought you quit smoking," and he's back to quitting smoking, and that might have something to do with him being dragged into this mafia business, but that also shows his darker edge coming back out, and that's interesting. I like these ideas being expressed through this show. I think it's a fantastic execution of writing and, little character quirks that come together to make a really well balanced show and world in this tiny little town that, you know, might start getting to some big consequences. I kind of wonder how long they can keep this show going, though, because I'm enjoying this show, but I'm also like, because it's in this small town, you have to imagine that this show is gonna like start getting to a point where things are start gonna get big enough that it's like it doesn't make sense for it all to still be taking place in the small town anymore. I don't know, but we're not there yet, and I'm really excited for what's coming.